Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more Los Angeles Lakers news, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. As much as Lakers fans love Rui Hachimura, it is becoming increasingly obvious that he will not remain with the Lakers, because Hachimura has a market and trading him for a great center or defensive wing will be essential for the Lakers to make it to the playoffs next season. Rui Hachimura will be traded by the Lakers. Don't be surprised if one Lakers forward is out of LA by the end of the month. Game 1 of the 2025 NBA Finals is in the books, meaning the offseason is one step closer to arriving. The Los Angeles Lakers have a busy summer ahead of them after a blink-and-you'll-miss-it playoff performance, leaving it up to general manager Rob Pelinka to make moves that will put his team back into the championship conversation. With limited cap space this summer, the trade market will be the Lakers' best shot at adding a needle-moving helper to play alongside LeBron James and Luka Doncic. Several names have already been listed as potential trade candidates this offseason, including a forward who might not survive the month in LA. June will be Rui Hachimura's last month with Lakers. When it comes to this summer's potential trade candidates, Rui Hachimura is near the top of the list. The veteran Lakers forward is set to carry an $18.2 million cap hit in the final season of his contract, making him an attractive trade piece for a partner who isn't looking for a long-term commitment. Hachimura has been an important part of the Lakers lineup after being acquired from the Washington Wizards during the 2022-23 season. He was Los Angeles' fourth option during the 2024-25 campaign, averaging 13.1 points, 5.0 rebounds, 1.4 assists, and .509/.413/.770 shooting splits in 59 games, 57 starts. Although that was a solid performance, the Lakers could be looking to move on from Hachimura for a few reasons. For starters, it doesn't make sense to hold on to him for too long if the front office isn't planning to re-sign him once his contract expires. It's better to get something for him this summer rather than nothing in 2026 free agency. On top of that, Hachimura's injury history is another reason the Lakers might be open to a split. The former Gonzaga product has yet to hit the 70-game mark since being drafted, and has missed 37 games in the last 2 seasons alone. Hachimura has stepped up in big moments, but he's also left Lakers fans wanting more. He has a knack for disappearing for stretches, proven by his scoring single-digit point totals in 20 of his appearances, 33.9%. Having said that, Hachimura's stock is potentially at an all-time high after scoring 23 points in each of his last 2 playoff games. The Lakers should capitalize on his value before it's too late because history indicates that he'll struggle to maintain that level of production. As much as some Lakers fans would love to keep Hachimura in town, cutting ties with the veteran combo forward is necessary to help get back into the championship mix. If GM Pelinka gets an offer that's too tempting to turn down, it might not be long before Hachimura is given a one-way ticket out of LA. Lakers' first move of the offseason has become painfully obvious. This is what Los Angeles should do to kickstart their offseason. As the Los Angeles Lakers navigate through their first offseason with Luka Doncic on board, they will have a lot of important roster decisions to make, and some exciting free agents may be available on the market. With that being said, there is one decision LA can make right away that might be the easiest choice of their offseason: to pick up Jordan Goodwin's $2.3 million team option for next season. Honestly, this should be a total no-brainer move for those that watched a lot of Goodwin this past season. Considering the Lakers' current roster needs and their desire to find cost-effective options, Goodwin is an easy choice to bring back on board after his performance in 2024-25. We have to remember that although Doncic and LeBron James remain on this roster and that is what will make Los Angeles a contender, it's often the margin moves that determine what a team's ceiling will truly be. And over the course of this past season, Goodwin proved that he can be the kind of difference maker the Lakers need coming off their bench. During the 2024-25 campaign, Jordan Goodwin stood out with his grit and hustle, which often showed up in his rebounding and defensive efforts. He showed that he can help shore up LA's bench on the defensive side of things. The Lakers should accept Jordan Goodwin's team option. Sure, he's not going to be a 30 minutes per night kind of guy. But frankly, the Lakers don't need many more of those kinds of players right now. A 1,000-mile journey begins with a single step, right? That's the mentality Los Angeles should be adopting when building a championship-level roster, and Goodwin is the kind of no-nonsense asset that every contending team should want to have. With just a $2.3 million price tag, picking up Goodwin's option would give the Lakers a fantastic return on investment. Rob Pelinka and the front office already have very little room for error when it comes to roster construction given their financial situation and salary cap restrictions. Low-cost contributors like Goodwin are going to be essential. If you need any further proof that the Lakers bench is in desperate need of an upgrade from last season, just look at the team's Game 4 against the Minnesota Timberwolves in Round 1 of the playoffs. J.J. Redick didn't play a single guy off the bench for the entire second half. A player like Jordan Goodwin is going to come in and make his presence felt every night off the bench. There are going to be some hard decisions the Lakers front office will have to make this summer, but bringing back number 30 should be one of the easiest. Seven-time champion delivers alarming defense concern to Luka Doncic. Former Los Angeles Lakers player Robert Horry believes that Luka Doncic's on-court issues are not related to his weight but rather his commitment, or seemingly lack thereof, on the defensive side of the floor. Horry implored Doncic to work on his defense this summer to become the best player he can be and take the Los Angeles Lakers to the next level. You can give someone 40 points, but if you're giving up 35 on the other end, those 40 points don't mean anything, Horry said about Doncic via the Dan Patrick Show. Because it's about wanting to. You know, he's never had to because he's always had people behind him to erase his mistakes. He getting blown by, they're getting layups. If you watch stretches of games where Luka just stayed in front, because he's a big body, the offensive players are bouncing off him. You just stay in front, and I think that is the key. And I think also he needs to want to play defense, because so many times he saves his energy for the offensive end, he concluded. Los Angeles Lakers news: LeBron James raves about Luka Doncic during latest podcast episode. Luka Doncic recently joined the Mind the Game podcast, and the Los Angeles Lakers guard received massive praise from co-star LeBron James. It's always been his pace. It's never been a game where it's like you can speed me up, he can speed me up, this bigger guy can be more physical, this smaller guy can get underneath me. And for us, we all working off of that, we've just got to stay ready, James said about Doncic. Does Chris Paul make sense for the Lakers this offseason? With Chris Paul potentially looking to play in Los Angeles next season, do the Lakers make sense as an option? There are few examples as notable of a player and team dancing around one another than the Lakers and Chris Paul. If not for the devious David Stern, Paul would have been a Laker and had a long, successful career leading them to multiple championships. Instead, we were given one of the most controversial moments in recent league history, and the beginning of CP3 and the Lakers circling one another. After his tenure with the Clippers came to an end and, perhaps more specifically, LeBron James joined LA, the rumors kicked up once again. In hiring head coach J.J. Redick, they effectively only increased the likelihood and intensity of those rumors. To that point, Paul appeared on the Pat McAfee Show on Thursday and was asked about his future. While he didn't mention any team or where he wanted to play explicitly, he did talk about his family, who are based in Los Angeles, and wanting to be around them. I talked to my family about it. My son just turned 16. My daughter's 12. The past 6 seasons, I've lived without them. So I go to San Antonio, Phoenix, Golden State, OKC. I've been around a few teams. But I've been away from them the past 6 years. So, it's a little different. Inevitably, Paul is going to be linked to the Lakers at some point this offseason. The question is, does it make sense anymore? When the Lakers were built around LeBron and Anthony Davis, the answer was a little clearer as they had a clearer need and hole at point guard. Now, with Luka Doncic, the questions are a lot more abundant. First, this is a deal that doesn't happen if Paul doesn't take the veterans minimum. The Lakers have too many needs to spend any extra resources on signing an aging point guard. Second, it likely only happens if the Lakers trade Gabe Vincent. Having one small point guard is a tough challenge to overcome. Having two of them is basically impossible to play, especially if you also have Luka. Third, there would be a certain level of trust that both LeBron and Redick would make clear what his role would be, which is a backup playing very limited minutes. If all of those conditions were met, then there's a chance that Paul could be an option that makes sense. He probably wouldn't be the preferred solution, as a defender would make more sense as a backup guard than a traditional point guard. But on the minimum, you could do worse. However, it feels way more likely that Paul and the Clippers are a better fit. Paul has an extensive history playing with Harden and playing for the franchise. As many things as the Lakers have going for them when it comes to signing, the Clippers have as well. However, that certainly won't stop the rumors, so prepare for them now. One center option for Lakers is being prioritized by his current team. It looks like the Los Angeles Lakers will do whatever they can to upgrade at the center position this offseason. It was a festering problem for them, especially after they traded away Anthony Davis in the deal that brought them Luka Doncic, and it was a big reason they lost in the first round of the playoffs to the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5 games. One name that has been mentioned as a possible target for the Lakers is Steven Adams. The 31-year-old overcame a PCL injury that forced him to miss all of the 2023-24 season and averaged 3.9 points and 5.6 rebounds in 13.7 minutes a game this season. While he may not be the answer to LA's woes in the middle, he could be part of the solution. Adams, who made $12.6 million this season, is about to become a free agent. The problem, according to Kelly Iko of The Athletic, is that the Houston Rockets are intent on keeping him. As the Rockets brass continue to maneuver through off-season mode, conducting draft workouts, tying up loose ends with exit interviews and prepping for a pivotal summer, they'll need to address several key potential free agents on the roster, Iko wrote. Veterans Steven Adams, Jeff Green and Jae'Sean Tate will be unrestricted free agents as of June 30th, but of the trio, Adams is seen as the clear priority, team sources told The Athletic. The 31-year-old's career revival this season, recovering from a right knee injury and becoming a critical part of Udoka's late-season rotation, is the reason hammering out his future is arguably Houston's top priority, those sources said. However, Iko did allow for the possibility of Adams moving to another team. But because of his two-way production, particularly his elite offensive rebounding, the possibility of Adams being lured away by a playoff team exists. Adams, who earned $12.6 million last season, would be a natural fit for teams such as San Antonio, New York, Indiana, and both Los Angeles organizations. But the Rockets are operating under the assumption Adams wants to return, and will continue to speak with his representation about a possible extension, team sources said. Because of his injury history, there could always be a chance that Adams is available for the taxpayer mid-level exception of $5.7 million. At 6'11" and 265 pounds, he is a big load in the paint, and while he isn't a scoring threat, he could help Los Angeles on the boards and give it a serviceable positioner defender down low. But, of course, if he wants to stay in Houston, LA will be out of luck as far as acquiring him. Lakers must avoid King stars after latest insider report. The Los Angeles Lakers should not want much to do with the Sacramento Kings this offseason. Sometimes not making a move at all is the best move. That would be the case when it comes to this instance for the Los Angeles Lakers. The Sacramento Kings will certainly have a handful of tempting names available on the surface level. However, any star trade with the Kings would be fool's gold. Michael Scotto reported, rival NBA executives are monitoring the trio of Domantas Sabonis, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan with the belief that Sacramento will explore the possibility of trading at least one of those players either this offseason or before the trade deadline in February. Any one of those three could be appealing at a quick glance. However, when doing an extensive look, Rob Pelinka would be better off searching for upgrades that do not involve any of the trio above. King stars would set Lakers up for a nightmare. The idea of why a deal involving Sabonis joining the Lakers would be a bad one has already been explored by this editorial. However, a quick recap will be provided here. While it is true that Los Angeles needs a center pretty badly, Sabonis' skill set is not one that will resonate with this current core. The Lakers need athleticism and rim protection at that spot. Those are both areas in which the Kings' center is not particularly potent. This comes before mentioning the hefty price tag that is attached to Sabonis. The three-time All-Star will make $43.6 million in 2025-26. That number will only grow through the end of the 2027-28 season. Speaking of hefty price tags, LaVine's is not one that makes a ton more sense for the Lakers either. The former slam dunk champion is set to make $47.5 million next year. A player option for close to $50 million would keep him around in 2026-27 as well. LaVine had an efficient scoring campaign in 2024-25, averaging 23.3 points per game while shooting 51-45-83. His scoring is not without its value next to Luka Doncic and LeBron James. However, his subpar defense would only make an existing problem worse. The Kings star also lacks a sufficient amount of supporting skills to go with his scoring that would truly make any sense for Los Angeles. That leaves just one name left. DeRozan has by far the best contract of the trio. His $24.8 million deal more than matches his production. The veteran forward averaged 22.2 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 4.4 assists per game in 77 appearances for the Kings in the regular season. Despite that, the lack of good fit should be just as obvious with DeRozan. The six-time All-Star would muddy up the spacing in Los Angeles around their superstar duo. DeRozan shot 32.8% from beyond the arc on 3.3 attempts per game in 2024-25. Overall, the California-born star is only a 30% career shooter from distance. Similarly to the other two players, DeRozan's defense is nothing to write home about either. The former lottery pick is still steady and reliable in a lot of ways at this point of his career. It's just not in the ones that would greatly benefit the Lakers. Ultimately, running down the list, a clear lack of logical fit is obvious across all three stars in Sacramento. If any one of the trio is going to find a new home during the offseason, it should not be a beach house in Los Angeles.